Alrighty, hey, and welcome everybody. It's Pastor Sherman Ray, and it's this week in prophecy. I hope everybody's doing well today. This is going to be an exciting show. I really do. Got some surprises and a big announcement we want to give you guys here in just a little bit. But I want to first, before we do any of that, I want to welcome everybody to the broadcast today. I hope that everybody's doing really well. Hope you had a great week in the Lord. And I was saying before that it seems like I just have not been on. I haven't done a podcast in forever, but just happens. If you are on our YouTube channel, I'm going to go ahead and open up our YouTube channel in just a second here. But we hope that you're able to jump on board with us, and because we're gonna have a good time today. We really are. I'll have that up in just a second. If you have any questions at all that you'd like to check, get with us on our YouTube channel, go ahead and do that. But before we get going too much further, I want to welcome our co-host of the show, Aaron Newton. Aaron, how are you doing today, brother?
What's happening, buddy? I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, doing awesome, man. Just another beautiful day, man. Um, and
Yes.
of course, my computer's like just going crazy here now. It's just kind of, ever see those spinning wheel things? That's what it's doing. It's just kind of
Yep.
spinning like, maybe I'll do something, maybe I won't. So it might be a minute before I can actually get on our YouTube channel because right now I just got a big spinning wheel. But so, Aaron, tell me what's been going on in your life, man.
Uh, Not much. Just working, going through things. Mrs. Newton wasn't feeling well today, so
Mm-hmm.
I stayed home with her.
Yeah.
That's about it. Just
Okay. Well, I hope
good
she's
stuff.
doing well. Yeah, I hope she's going to do well here pretty soon, and she'll get back out there and get back to her chipper self. I haven't seen Cecilia in quite a while. My gosh, it seems like think
Well,
since
I
my
hope to
last
change
birthday or
that.
something. Yeah,
I hope to rectify that soon.
yeah,
Definitely on the 19th.
definitely on the 19th. What's going on the 19th? Oh, that's
You
right.
don't know? Oh,
I,
oh.
I do know what's going on the 19th. Yes. Well, thank you for, and normally it's me that will make these unashamed, plugs.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So since you brought it up, though, hey, we're finally now we've been wanting to move our church for quite a while, and so one thing has led to another. We've had to reschedule and push things back and everything else like that. But we are moving into a new sanctuary on the 19th. I'm very excited about it. I wish I had pictures to show you guys. It's about twice the size of where we're at now, which is great, and better location, a brand new facility. So we're very, very excited about that. So thank you. Thank you for. Um, and if you're ever in town, like if your folks are in town, just write to us at sagestonechurch@gmail.com. We'll get you the address and stuff, okay? So sagestonechurch@gmail.com, and we'll get you all the address and everything else, so you can come and join us. Oh gosh, I'm going to be able to change, uh, and hopefully get in the our other page here. Um, but so you're gonna drop by and visit us and stuff like that for our new.
Yes. I, I will grace you with my presence, of course.
Appreciate that. We so much appreciate that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, that'll
Yeah,
be
no, I want to come
fun.
by and support my friend.
Yeah. Wow. I
So,
can't. Yeah. Okay. Well, for some reason I can't bring that up either. So, anyways, if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, folks, I'm having some technical difficulties. I will get it up here. But let's do this. Aaron, why don't we? Because we had last week or the week before, there were a couple of things that the Lord had dropped in your spirit. And why don't we go ahead and get started with one of those first? And while you're reading it and getting prepped on that, I will try to get us on our YouTube channel. Okay?
you got it. I'm actually have it playing right next to me. It looks pretty good.
Hmm.
No, usually my face is blurry but it actually looks really clear and nice.
Oh
I
yeah,
I
sure.
got I got a new computer, so
Oh, that's always good. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
so it actually looks really nice. There's no lag or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, let me read this. So this is from the 29th of May, 2023,
Hmm.
and I was living in an apartment building. It was very run down, like you know the projects, I would say, but very run down. Some of the walls were missing. You can see inside people's apartments. The water wasn't working. The toilets, nothing worked. Electricity was off, and I kept trying to help people to kind of show, like help them out in their place or show them how to get things going. But people just didn't want to listen. They just, I don't know, it was like they just didn't want to hear it. They kind of liked living in the whatever it was broken down. And I remember I was trying to get my son to do something and he wouldn't do it. And I'm just like so frustrated. I started walking down the street and I ran into an old friend. And I've known this guy since I was like 17. He actually was my youth pastor when I was in high school. I had a girlfriend that took me to a group. It was called Young Life, and it was like a youth group for kids, and it was ran by the university students at Azusa Pacific. And so, anyways, I saw him walking down the street, and I said, "Hey, I noticed he had these little sores on his face, and I didn't understand what that meant. And it was like somebody that kind of just picking at their face, I guess you could say." And I said, "Hey, now's the time. It's really time. It's time to preach. Let's put something together, like something online or something." And he said, "No, I have to check my social media score to make sure people like me." So he didn't want to preach. He didn't want to do something online because he was worried about his social media score first to make sure people like him. So there's that. Um, what do you what's your thoughts on this?
Interesting. So you're a part of Young Life.
Yeah, you heard of it?
Oh sure, yeah. Oh yeah, they've been
Yeah,
on for years and years.
yeah. I had like I said, I had a girlfriend when I was in high school,
Hmm.
and she took me there for the first time. And you know, of course, I wasn't saved or anything, but I really enjoyed it. I really had a good time. They were great people, and they used
Hmm.
to we used to do worship music at the beginning, and the guy would play the guitar, and I would play my bass.
Uh-huh.
So we do that, and then one year I went to a summer camp, and um, oh goodness, I went to a summer camp, and I remember on the way home, like I think that was the first time I ever experienced God. Um, I remember driving home and I was sitting in the van and somebody had given me a Bible at this summer camp, and I remember looking out the window and I just felt so good. Like everything was clear and bright and sparkle. I can't explain it, but I just remember looking out the window thinking, wow, this is something's different. Something feels different.
Uh-huh.
And of course, I went off into my own way again. I went back to where I was, my home, and just wasn't a good scene and situation. And so I just fell away till I got older. But, anyways, I thought this, I don't know why the Lord wanted me to reveal this dream. It was supposed to
Uh-huh.
be last week,
Uh-huh.
but, you know, um, yeah, there's that.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, I mean, okay. There. So I'm finally on our page, but for some reason, I've done some reconfiguring, and I can't get into the site. So anyways, it is what it is.
It's
Um.
fine. I'm watching it. I have
Oh
it
no.
up
I
on
mean,
next.
I can see it. Yeah. It's
Oh, okay.
just controlling it for the chat. So, anyways, if you are watching our YouTube channel, folks, we're on our YouTube channel right now. It's right now. It's unfortunately I can't get into the site right now because it's given us some problems here. But I can actually see it though. So, anyways, um, um, so interesting. So I'm reading. What do you get about the guy who's got the sores on his face? So there's a guy who
I
had
don't, I
sores
don't
on his face.
I don't really know understand the sores part. He seemed like
Mm-hmm.
he was picking at himself, like uh maybe maybe he has a demon, like not an infestation, not a but
Mm-hmm.
like oppressed by something dark,
Mm-hmm.
that I don't know. I
Yeah.
I don't know. That's I now let me say why I say this, because there was a
Okay.
man one day. This was like 2 or 3 years. No, it was longer than that. He
Yeah.
came into my work, and there was me and another man standing at the front desk, and
Mm-hmm.
this other man is Lutheran, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
He's a associate pastor at a Lutheran church,
Yeah.
and we talk all the time. But this man came in, and he said, "Hold on one second. I'm sorry." He said, "Do you guys sell socks here?" And that man's like, "No, this this is a boat store. You got it. There's a Walmart down the street." And that man flipped like in a second, and he started cursing us, saying that he was the son of Satan, and he was gonna curse us with fleas. And I remember he looked like that man, like
Oh.
picked at kind of. His legs were scabby and stuff, and I just remember like looking at him like, "Do you think I'm afraid of you? Is that what you
Mm-hmm.
think?" Like, and he just backed away, like, okay, I'm getting closer to him, and he's backing away and ran out the store. But it was so weird. He came in and he was very nice. Like, "You guys sell socks here?" Like, "No, no, we don't. This is a boat shop." And that was it. Like in a second, he turned and the demon manifested, and
Yeah.
he was just cussing, and like he lifted up his leg and he was like, "I curse you with fleas," and
Wow.
like, and I'm like, "You don't scare me. I'm not
Yeah.
afraid of you." Got closer, and then he like backed off, and like, his eyes got wide and he took off.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, yeah, I know the man was oppressed. I know he was probably, he had demons, but
Yeah.
maybe it's somebody that's oppressed. I don't know.
Could be. So you and I had a conversation today, and I think this is probably, and I don't know if this is the right time to say this now, but you and I let's talk about something really quick because before we get too far into the show. Um,
Yeah.
for those of you who've been watching us, we've been on for about 3 seasons now, and um, and the Lord's really been speaking to me in the last few months or so about working on and prioritizing my life a little bit more. And so I've had to start looking at the things that are working, things that are not working for me, that kind of stuff. And so so today literally is going to be my last day here. So Aaron wants to continue with the Aaron's going to be continuing with the broadcast. And so and when I first actually heard this, I said to myself, "Wow, that's very interesting." Um, about the social media thing, but I think this is more personal for you though, not for me. Because at first I thought it was me, and then I thought, wait a minute, no, it's probably no. I don't see it being for me. I think it's for you because, and the reason why I say that is because as you and I were talking earlier, and I hope I can reveal this. Do I have permission to do this
What's that?
right now?
What's that?
So,
What?
uh, about the conversation we had today
Oh yeah,
about
that's fine.
you
Yeah,
continuing
yeah.
on. Okay, so Aaron and I were talking about this today, and so we were talking about the transition and how it's going to look, that kind of stuff. And you mentioned that there was somebody who, because you want to continue on with the broadcast, which is fantastic. I'm very excited about that. But there was somebody who you were going to be speaking to, and that this person was somebody that maybe would be a good fit for this. And I'm as I'm thinking about this, because at first I thought it was me, and then I thought, well, no, I think this is about somebody who you're going to be encountering, who's going to probably start. There might be a reticence there, is what I'm thinking.
Well, let me say something. Hold on. Let
Uh-huh.
me. I didn't even realize. I don't even. I don't like when I resent it to you, because you said
Uh-huh.
you didn't see it, but I
Mm-hmm.
definitely sent it to you on the
Yeah.
23rd of April. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that was this is third week, right? That would be a couple weeks ago, right?
Uh-huh. Okay.
And I didn't remember exactly which one it was until I read it right now as you and I are talking. I just
Yeah.
copied and pasted and resent it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but we talk about the dreams like it's not. You got to take the whole story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, wasn't working. I'm trying to get people to help, but my son was he was making me mad. And
Mm-hmm.
then I walked down the street and ran into an old friend. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
an old friend who that
Yeah.
you are an old friend, Sherman. I
Mm-hmm.
noticed he had little sores on his face. He had been picking pimples like an addict. I said, "It's time to preach. Let's put something together." He said, "No, I got to check my social media score and make sure people like me." I it's a whole story. I don't that the other person is he's not an old friend, but
Uh-huh.
I do know him and I trust him. Like he's actually pretty amazing when we talk about our dreams. Like the other two Saturday, we have church on Saturdays, and
Uh-huh.
he's like we don't really share our stuff every once in a while, but he come up to me and he said, "God told me to share this dream with you," and he's telling me this dream about flooding and fire and a
Uh-huh.
camper and being in the woods in a cabin, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, oh my goodness, because that night I had a dream that I was in a cabin and it was flooded with water, so I was walking on the side of the wall holding on to the wall. So it's really God puts people in your path and it's like, wow, this is really somebody else with the other pieces of the puzzle, because in
Uh-huh.
my dream in this cabin in the woods, and but it's like like a hotel, like a big place, like uh, what was that place with Jack Nicholson? You know that how that big hotel was
Amityville?
in the woods, The Shining.
Shining, yes.
Yeah. So that hotel was in the woods. It was like that, and
Okay.
but it was like a rustic looking cabin, and it was flooded with water. And he's telling me that his, anyways, it's really amazing. Like these pieces are fitting together on the
Uh-huh.
same day. Like he dreamt the night before, I dreamt the night before. And it's just like, wow, that's pretty amazing. He's he's more of a new friend, but the people that I know in my circle, they are like, this guy's a prophet. You should really talk to him. So
Oh.
I do, but I don't know, man. Sometimes I think an old friend. I don't
Mm-hmm.
I don't have too many old friends here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
anyways, I didn't even like until I was reading again. I'm like, oh wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's kind of weird. So I didn't just send this to you because we're doing our last show. I sent it to you weeks ago.
No. No, you sent this to me, what, 2 weeks ago, right? Or a week
Yeah,
ago?
so you got
Yeah.
to know God. He tells the story before it's
Uh-huh.
supposed to happen, right? It's the end of the story at the beginning. So whatever it is,
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
go back and pray about this because
Yeah.
I'm kind of that's kind of weird. I don't dream about well a couple times social media stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird that we're doing. This is our last show, and
Uh-huh.
you know we had this discussion actually,
Mm-hmm.
pretty similar to that. So
Very similar. It
I
was
don't know.
very similar to this. Yeah, I think. Yeah, and and really, for me, it was more prioritizing what's actually working for me and not that's not working for me. Um,
Hmm.
and I think the similarities are very, but I don't know if but and here's the thing. Right when I read it, I said, Lord, is he talking about me? And then I thought, well, wait a minute. No, because um, um, generally I'm trying to say, okay, because when we talk about prophecy, a lot of times you'll say something like orange, okay? It might be just orange, okay? And then people go, and for you it means nothing, okay? But somebody else it might mean, oh no, that's actually for, and that's what I look for. Can I look for? Well, could this apply to somebody else? And in this case, I'm thinking, goes, yeah. I mean, there's similarities, but I don't think it's actually for me. So, anyways, um, we'll see what happens.
There's no
Yeah.
such thing as a coincidence, Sherman.
Oh no, I wouldn't say that at
No
all.
such thing.
No, no. Um, yeah.
That's kind
So,
of amazing. I'm kind of tripped out right now because that's like prophecy fulfilled, but in a way we think it is or not think it is, but it's
mhm.
still the same. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but
Yeah.
we'll just go
Okay.
with that.
Yeah. All right. Let's go on to the next. And for those of you, I'm still trying to get up on our website, our Facebook page. Excuse me, shouldn't say Facebook page, YouTube channel. And and so if you want to get on the conversation, folks, don't even hesitate. Go ahead and jump in there. I can still do the chat feature and stuff like that, but it'll actually be me. You'll actually see my name pop up and stuff like that. Okay. So let's go on. Let's go on to the next one there, Aaron, and see what you got there,
Yeah.
bud.
Okay, so the next one, and I really believe that this was something
Mm-hmm.
we've been seeing lately. We've been talking it over the last year, and so I think this is kind of, I don't know. I don't think it's done being fulfilled, but we've definitely seen the beginning of it. I was waiting for Cecilia in a parking lot. Oh, gee whiz. Sorry. I accidentally closed it. I was waiting for Cecilia in a parking lot, and a preacher, very famous preacher, by the way, I remember that. He was wearing kind of like one of those old 700 Club suits, the polyester type, I guess you could say, with the vest and the back is like flared out a little bit. And he had gotten in trouble, and he was harassing women, and he was drunk, and he had two drunk girls with him, and I could, like, he was cornering them and not letting them get away, and he was harassing them like they were trying to get away from him, but he wouldn't let them go. He was trapped in the corner, and then his handlers, or the people, like his security or whatever, were pulling them away. And then I was standing with them, talking about it and watching from as a third person, kind of watching the whole situation play out. But then again, at the same time, I was talking to them about it. And I thought this was really weird because I sent this to you a couple weeks ago. And then the other day, I saw a story about a man who is in a ministry in South America. And it's called Cities for Christ. Have you ever heard of it?
No, I don't think
No.
I've heard of that one before. Yeah.
So this man is like all over South America and the world, Puerto Rico. He travels around the world preaching. And so what was happening was he was grooming girls, and they were he's 40, and these girls were like 18, 19 years old. And basically he was grooming them, and he was treating them really bad. Like when they did something that didn't please him, he would make them stand under the AC vent for 3 hours with no clothes on. It's a horrible story, but um it's just kind of a cultural, like, the church is trying to stick up for him, and all these girls are coming out and down in different countries in South America, Panama and Argentina, and they're saying he did that to me too, he did that to me too. And I thought it was odd that I put this here too, because this is something that just came out like a day ago or 2 days ago. So anyways, I saw that. I mean, this is, like I said, I sent this to you 2 weeks ago, and this story came out day before yesterday, or yesterday even. But today's Tuesday, so it would have been yesterday, Monday.
Aaron, I am so sorry. I'm getting
Oh,
captivated
no
with.
problem,
No, it's driving me crazy. I've been
man.
trying to.
That's
Well,
fine. I'll
it's
continue.
yeah. Go ahead. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, not a problem. I'll just continue on to the next one. Okay, and so the last one. Um, so this one you might understand, but I went to visit someone who was dying of cancer from smoking, and she was explaining to me how sick she was. But she didn't feel sick at the moment. Then all of a sudden, it would hit her, and she would die. So she has cancer, and she's gonna die in 3 months, I think it was. And all of a sudden, it will just hit her, then she'll die. I noticed that she was mixed race. She was a black and a white lady. She had dreadlocks, and she was giving her stuff away. And she said, "Here, take this poster."
Hmm.
and on the poster was like a 1980s like punk band, you know, but it said in the back Pride, and each letter was a like different color of the rainbow, kind of like Pride, you know, like LGBTQ. So she gave me this poster, and it was a 1980s punk rock show, and it said Pride on it in like rainbow colors. And I went inside her house, and it was a cave, and she had like a black gate as the entrance, like an iron gate as the entrance to her cave. So we walked in, and there was a man sitting inside the cave at a table, and he was making like some kind of macrame or something, like little crafts, like I don't know, you know, like making doilies or something. That was really weird. And
Yeah.
the man was sitting at the table doing some kind of craft. I knew he was stuck in there, and she kept him in there, oppressed. I said, "You're just doing whatever you want because you know you're gonna pass or you're gonna die." And she said, "Yeah." She said, "Yeah, like meth, whatever I want." And I looked at her
Wow.
legs, and they were very skinny,
Okay.
like like a marathon runner. Somebody has no definition in their leg, just super skinny, no muscle.
Hmm.
And so when I the first thing was the pride poster. You know, on the stage was like anarchy. You know,
Yeah.
because like a you know like a punk rock show from the 80s and 90s. It wasn't just people singing on the stage and people clapping. There was like people jumping on stage, and they were breaking instruments, and it was chaos and it was anarchy. You know, it wasn't just like a normal concert that you think of where somebody's on stage and the people in the crowd are laughing or clapping and you know having a good time. It was just people got punched in the face, and there was just anarchy. But also in the back of that poster it said Pride, like colors of the rainbow flag. And so she was giving it away, and she was telling me how she was going to die in a couple months. And so I just it just seemed like to me that this had two meanings for a while. To me, I just didn't understand. But the
Uh huh.
pride and the punk rock show, which was anarchy, what we see in the streets um now today, you know, the other
Yeah.
uh and we can go into that later. But and then the pride part, which you know a lot of that is driven by um what we're seeing. And so it just was really really odd to me that the lady was mixed
Uh
race
huh.
with dreadlocks, which I seen another dreadlock lady before in a dream. I don't
Hmm.
know if we talked about it, but
Yeah.
anyways, and it was I knew she was from California, kind of thing. I don't know. I just knew that that woman was from California.
Interesting. Now I'm wondering if, because we're like you said, we're seeing a lot of stuff going on in our country right now, um, where we're having people, the whole anarchy thing, and um, the thing going on with ICE and stuff like that, and they're going after now. The president said he's going after Antifa now, um, and there's a lot of spiritual stuff going on. You know, the people dying of cancer, you know, from smoking, you know, a lot of these folks are dying. You know, I did a devotional this morning about uh, living a life of intentionality, and how one of the laws of intentionality is to influence the culture, that we're to be change agents. And why are we change agents? Well, the biggest reason why we're a change agent is because we're living in a society that's dying. They don't know it. They're just doing what they think is going to be fine. You know, this girl was dying of cancer. She didn't know it. You know, these folks that are out there in the streets right now, they're dying of cancer. They don't even know it because they're not saved, right?
Well,
Um,
yeah, yeah. She did know though. She said she had 3 months. Or let me see. Does it
oh,
say
but
this
she
on here?
didn't feel sick.
She
Yeah,
knew, yeah, she did know she had cancer, but it was just gonna all of a sudden hit her and she'd die. Like
yeah.
this movement poster of anarchy and pride was
Mm-hmm.
dying. You know, she's giving these things away. She's
Mm-hmm.
giving it up because she's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever spirit, the mixed, I think the mixed culture or the mixed race, like I mean, I you know, say that word, but somebody who is black and white
Mm-hmm.
mixed, like her mom was, whichever one, is this. a person who has light and darkness. Let's say they have light and darkness in them, right?
Oh,
So let's
yeah.
say a spiritual thing. Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about it spiritually. This person who is mixed has both light and dark in them because we're all spiritual beings, but then the darkness is infiltrated,
Mm-hmm.
and she has just a little bit of time left. So she's given up. These things are going to be gone because she's going to die.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's that. I don't know. That's what I see.
Yeah. And it said pride on it, and she's giving up the pride
Yeah.
flag too. Huh? But that's
Well,
the
it
thing
was
that's
a poster.
yeah.
It was the poster of like I said, 1980s punk rock show. And you know what I'm talking about? Those shows with just anarchy. You know, it wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
like a normal thing. But in the back of the show, or in the back of on the poster itself, like it was a picture, and it said "Pride" in, like, say, the wall behind where they took the picture said "Pride" on it in that
Yeah.
rainbow colors.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just wondering, because we've got a lot of that going on right now and it seems like of all of the people who are going out and um, displaying how upset they are, we've got a lot of people who are who are uh, uh, homosexual pride. That's I don't know if you saw this thing on the news today. They were, the president's going in and he's cleaning up this village and that town and everything else like that. And you've got people who are basically protesting the whole thing. But the people who are the ones who exactly who they are, it's a bunch of women who decide that they want to take their tops off. And it's like, oh my gosh, it was like, lady, of all things that you could do out in the middle, and you're just kind of shaking your stuff around, and you're going, oh my gosh, what is with that's like their ultimate show of defiance, and yet they're dying a slow death. I mean, they're lost, and it's kind of a scary place to be at. Huh.
Yeah, it's let's even look at this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we talked. I don't think we talked about it. We haven't talked for a while, but in October 7th, right? Let's talk about October 7th. That was which holiday was it? Rosh Hashanah. It was a holiday,
October.
right? Rosh
Okay.
Hashanah.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
So then, the day before the Feast of Trumpets, which was the other day, right? You had the UN,
Mm-hmm.
who the British government deciding, well, we're going to recognize Palestine as a state the day
Yeah.
before the Feast of Trumpets, right? So that's two holy holidays where Israel is kind of being attacked, you could say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Italy said, we're not going to recognize um, Palestine as a state, and the I don't know what she's called, Prime Minister or whatever of Italy.
Of Italy.
She's
Yeah.
like a Trump kind of lady. She's like Italy's version of Trump. So right after they said no more, we're not going to recognize them as a state because of October. Just what they what they stand for, Hamas and stuff. And Italy had riots in the streets, and it wasn't because she's a bad leader, whatever. It was because they did not recognize Palestine as a state. It was Muslim men, immigrants who are in Italy, um, uh, just rioting in the streets. And I thought to myself, like, wow, that's such a sign right there. That's really, you didn't do what we want, and
Mm-hmm.
we're going to burn down buildings and riot in the street. I thought, wow, that's so very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been putting together this little study, and we could talk about it a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I kind of wanted your thoughts on that. You have, I don't know. Anyways, so did you see that? Did you read that? Did you see about that? The
I did
Italy
not.
thing?
About
Oh,
thing
okay.
about Italy? No, I did not even see that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, uh, how quickly Britain forgets that
Yes.
they're over there. They had British citizens
Mm-hmm.
murdered on October 7th, and
Yeah.
now they want to give Palestine a platform or recognize them as a state when their people were killed, like their citizens. To
Yeah,
me, one citizen murdered like that would have been,
enough.
the
Sure.
coffin in the nail for me.
Yeah. It's funny in Britain. You mentioned Britain that um, they're right now being ruled. So the mayor of London right now is a Muslim guy, and uh, many of the things that he's trying to implement in London now are pro-Muslim. And I just don't understand, and we're finding the same thing here in America, is that are we the next ones to be like that? Are we the next ones to say, hey guys, guess what? We don't we've forgotten um, that we are a Christian nation. I was reading about that, just a matter of fact, today, about us being a Christian nation, and how a lot of Americans don't even realize the degree to which we are a Christian nation, and they've just kind of forgotten. They've just kind of forgotten that the all the principles, all of the rules, all of the customs, everything that we've got, and now we're having a group of people that are coming into our country that are trying to change our country, um, um, to make it something that it has never been, and that's kind of the scary part about it. We've lost Aaron for just a second there, so we're going to get him back in just a second. But it's kind of a scary place to be at, where we've kind of lost people. Yeah, there you go. He's back.
Sorry. Sorry.
No, no. Did you pull the plug on yourself?
No, I was my phone's dying, so I was using this little
Oh.
four-way that I have here, and it totally cut off the video, saying, "Oh, got to start another video from your phone." No, 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 no.
No,
So,
don't do that.
sorry.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's really kind of where we're at as a country right now, is that we're kind of looking at I know it's a sign of the end, right? I know it's a sign of that Jesus is coming, but you would have never thought we would see it in such a way. You know what I mean? You would think that there'd be some major war or something like that. But it's actually something that's happening from within our country, and so that's kind of the scary thing that's going on in our country.
Well, look, I'll say this really because, um, you know, I've been doing this study and I sent it to you and I put pictures in it. I wish I could show the pictures, but there
Mm-hmm.
was some things that I wanted to show, like a timeline. We we our rights and our let's say our rights and our views on things really
Mm-hmm.
kind of sometimes work against us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think it was meant to be that way,
Mm-mm.
right? Like the freedom of religion, and that means if you want to worship Satan, it's okay, and we
Sure.
should. I think Philadelphia. I think it's next week. I was reading a story that they're going to raise the communist Chinese flag over their capital, in solidarity with blah blah blah, whatever. I don't even care. But it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I'm gonna just kind of let's talk about this because I really think that people, we say people are waking up, and people are waking up to Jesus. They are. I mean, you can't deny that.
Mm-hmm.
I get on TikTok and just like it's just revival video after revival video all over the world. You have Britain, you got I mean, just everywhere. Italy, it's happening all over the world, and people are waking up. But the body of Christ, right? The people that have been here for a while, um, you know, we fell asleep, and and I don't want to say everybody. That's not true because some people were definitely crying out about these things for a long time. But the whole and Satan wouldn't be able to take over things the way he's doing if we didn't allow him to do it, right? You have
Hmm.
authority, we have authority in Christ, but yet how does he infiltrate a whole nation, and then the people just say, "Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead. You know, yeah, we want to be Nazis." So spiritual, like we talk about dreams and prophecy and spiritual things. And this is what we've done for the last year. So I want to talk about something spiritual. The first church used discernment for spiritual warfare in a way that I think the body has lost. And I think it had to do 1500 years ago with a certain, like, let's just say, when Catholicism became the church of the state kind of thing. Rome decided we're all going to be Christians now, which is great, right? Because now Christians, we're not being persecuted, they're not being murdered. However, with that, these pagan priests now are forced to convert to Christianity, which I mean, what if would you convert if somebody said you must now become a Muslim? Would you really convert? And like, no. But anyways, the it just it I don't know. It was in a like in the 1500s. You could
Hmm.
only the priest was able to read the Bible, and you had to trust what he said, and it was only in Latin, which people didn't speak Latin, or most people didn't even read. But so you didn't understand anything that was going on, and he you had to pay him. You had to pay him to pray for you. That was kind of a big thing. So Martin Luther decided I'm not going to go along with this anymore, and he put an edict on the door of the Catholic Church, and I think it was called the 95 Notes, or I can't remember exactly what it's called,
Hmm.
but basically saying that you guys are corrupt. And
Yeah.
he went and hid in a German castle and wrote a Bible in German. And what happened exactly at this time? Because let's look at the spiritual side. What exactly happened at this time? Somebody invented the printing press.
Well,
So
good.
awesome. We're gonna write the Bible in another language, and at the exact same time, here comes out the printing press, and the Gutenberg Bible was printed, and the word spread out to the world. So now this we've this mindset of love and tolerance infiltrated the body, and the church cut themselves off from the voice of the prophets. They lost their way, and the priests were we just talked about the priests were allowed to read. And so let's look at spiritual, uh, right? We go to church and we pray and we spend time alone and we pray. And in the Old Testament, they used an altar for their sacrifices, right? God said, build this altar for your sacrifice, and build the temple where you're going to do it in the courtyard. So just a quick narrative about it. But anyways, so in 1878, um, German excavations began in Pergamum, and it uncovered the altar of Zeus. Okay, so the in 1886 through 1910, the fragments were moved to Berlin and stored while they made a dedicated museum. Right, so the throne of Zeus, or the throne of Satan, was moved from Syria to Berlin. Right, and they set up this throne in a museum in 1910. I'm sorry, no. They started building the museum. What happened 4 years later? World War One. Germany tried to take over the world. Okay, so they have now this altar to Satan in their capital, and then they decided, hey, this is a great idea to take over the world by using the Serbs. Oh, the Serb, they killed the Archduke Ferdinand. Okay, now we're gonna use that to take over the world. Obviously, they lost. And then from 1910 to 1930, they reconstructed the altar. And in 1930, the Pergamum Museum opens to the public, displaying the reassembled altar. And what happened 5 years later? Hitler attacked Poland. Yeah, World War II. So now that altar is now built and ready to go. And you have the son of Satan deciding he wants to take over the world again. So you have this altar evil altar in Berlin, and 2 times in the 20th century, Germany tries to take over the world with war and bloodshed. So the second Nuremberg. Have you ever seen the picture of Nuremberg that
Oh
he
yeah,
stood up
sure.
on?
Hmm.
It's a replica of the altar of Pergamum, but bigger, much bigger. Well, he stood up on this before Nazi Germany. World War II, Hitler stood in front of the very altar and spoke out about world domination and destruction of the Jews. From this bigger made altar, the altar of Pergamum was set up in Nazi Germany, and nobody said anything. There was people, but the country as a whole, the body as a whole, didn't do anything. They just went along. Did you know that throne still sits in Berlin today?
I would not doubt it. Yeah.
It's still in a museum in Berlin today. So the World Economic Forum. Do you know who started the World Economic Forum and the Open Border Society?
Who?
Klaus Schwab. Klaus
Okay.
Schwab is a German man
Hmm.
who chairs the Open Border Society and started the World Economic Forum. So this, oh gosh, I wish I could show this, but let me
Yeah.
show you this picture. This is the
Well,
opening ceremony of the World Economic Forum. Can you see it?
you've got to move it over just a little bit to your right. There you go. Somebody's
That
kissing
is
somebody's
a
head.
no. That is a pagan witch
Okay.
spitting on these most powerful men in the world.
Wow.
She's opening it with a pagan ceremony. This is the World Economic Forum. These are the most powerful and rich men in the world, and
Yeah.
she's walking through spitting on them in a pagan
Wow.
ceremony to open this convention of the
Sure.
most powerful men in the world. No prayer, no praying to Jesus. No,
No.
no, we're gonna
No.
have a pagan
Not
come
going to do
spit
that.
on all
Yeah.
these people.
Yeah.
So the Open Border Society, right? And these are the leader. This is the man. Okay, so then, oh gosh, I didn't put it. There's the president of Mexico
Hmm. The
under
lady.
or had a ceremony when she was elected president.
Okay.
Same thing. Okay, same kind of ceremony. Now, Mexico flooded our borders with people, human trafficking, and drugs.
Hmm.
Right. So this we see the correlation between the pagan or not pagans, a cult,
Yeah.
and a Christian nation. What is happening? Are we, you know, well, anyways, so I'll just put that. So they flood our borders. She does the same ceremony, a similar ceremony with a cult like rituals when she's elected president. Okay. Um, so my point is that like part of this is to me to say like you need to understand that this is much more than just being a good person and there is a spiritual war that it is heavy, and we're seeing it all over the country with these cities being taken over, telling Christians you're not allowed, we don't want you here anymore, right? Get out of our town. And the mayor, the chief of police, the school board, like all the top positions are all Muslims, and then they tell Christians we don't want you here anymore, you're not welcome. So here's something else that I saw, and it was pretty interesting. Right. So
Sure.
before this, and
Yeah, here, Aaron.
go ahead.
Before you go much further, let me ask you a question about this, though,
Sure.
because we're talking about we've seen a fairly much a over the years a infiltration of some pretty dark characters into America. Over the last 2 weeks, though, we've seen a toppling of some of those folks with the rise of Christianity. Right
Mhm.
now, folks over at Turning Point USA, they reported 121,000 new chapters, people trying to open up these new chapters. Uh, Compound that with the backing of the White House, compounding that with J.D. Vance saying, "Hey, basically, hey, I'm starting to be more vocal about my Christianity." I see a such a tsunami effect, like where Satan thought he was basically going to run roughshod over America, like you were saying before, using our own laws against us. As a matter of fact, what the ISIS and those folks, they thought, oh yeah, we're just going to use the American laws against them. They've got the ACLU, and they've got all these other groups. They'll let us stay in their country because they've got all these laws, and the laws will just use those laws against them. But now you've got that was under an old regime. That was under a regime that like Biden, and some of those folks who basically were no better. They were enablers of the whole thing.
Oh yeah, I'm going to show you actually, and you're right, Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't learn from the past, it will happen again.
Oh yeah,
And I don't think
sure,
people understood what really took place.
yeah,
I don't think they understood the spiritual side of what took place.
yeah,
And you're right. We are seeing the wave come now breaking, right?
oh
The
yeah,
wave
sure,
pushed out and now it's breaking. But like I said, when you go through the Old Testament and you see how the immigrants brought in their gods
yes,
and the
sure,
Israelites turned to their gods because they didn't they don't know what
mm-hmm.
how did they get sent to Egypt, right?
Yeah,
And then brought back. And that first generation was so used to Egypt that they
sure,
just wanted to build themselves a golden calf.
oh,
But
yeah.
the next generation saw, but then the generation after that went back to what they
They
were
went
doing
back.
because they didn't realize what really took place.
Mm-hmm.
Not what you see with your eyes, but what is happening in the spirit. And I think
Oh
this
yeah,
is the reason why I'm even showing this is because people need to see what really happened in the spirit. Here's another picture, and I'll try to show it to you
uh-huh.
best I can. Is that good? You know what that is?
Yes,
The Arch of Baal, right?
that's an
So
arch. Yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's called. I'll tell you about it in a second. There's the original, and then this is in Trafalgar Square, London.
Uh huh.
This is in the capital of New York City, or the city capital building. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's the Congress in the background,
Uh-huh.
and this is the UN. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so let me tell you about this real quick.
Are
Arch.
they
This was the Arch
setting
of
up these high places?
yeah.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
this arch was the Arch of Baal, right? It was the
Mm-hmm.
entrance to the Temple of Baal,
Mm-hmm.
and ISIS blew it up in 2015, right? So what happened was they said, "Oh no, this is now a World Heritage Site." So this
Oh,
arch, right, to the Temple of Baal, and you know what Baal is, right? Baby
sure.
sacrifice, and right. So
Mm-hmm.
now we said we're going to set it up as a World Heritage Site, and they made copies of it, and it's kind of interesting to me. The London, New York City,
Mm-hmm. All these places.
Washington D.C.,
Yeah.
and then the UN. That's the UN, and on the last one, that's the UN building
Mm.
in Switzerland. So first, okay, London. I mean, we can see what's going on there,
Oh
but
yeah.
they don't set it up as like, oh, this is amazing history. The occult is more zealous for the Antichrist to come back than
Yes.
most Christians are for Jesus.
Amen.
People,
Yeah,
you
it's true.
need to read your Bible. You
Oh
have to
yeah.
read your Bible. If you
Oh yeah.
read your Bible, you will see what's happening. So they don't just set it up to say like, oh, we're just gonna show this amazing piece of history. They set it up right in front of this building. And Trafalgar Square is a representation of British nationalism and pride. It's a big deal. Like it's statues of very famous Brits. The second one, the capital of or the city hall, New York, right? What do we see going on there with Mamdani and Zoran Mamdani wants to take over and make it a socialist state? The Capitol building, when that was in the Capitol building, that was when Justice Kavanaugh was being confirmed. They set it up right at the building where he was being confirmed. Doesn't seem like a coincidence to me. And then the UN. What did we just talked about the UN, right? Obviously, they the occult is deeper in society at the upper level than we think because you have all these um high up people and elected officials sitting here. So it just like I don't. the whole point of this is to pray, because we do see the wave coming right now. Right, the back is kind of broken, but
Yes.
it did get here, and it did
Oh
take
yeah.
4 years of pain to see it.
Hmm.
Right then, people started to pray, and then people started to actually listen to prophets and come along with this prophetic thing. But if we just think like, oh, okay, well, we're done, and the wave is here, we're good now, we're just gonna, okay, but it'll come back. It
Oh yeah.
will come back
Oh
because
yeah.
we see it come back and back. Did you know that the first non-German unit in World War II, the SS non-German unit, were Muslims,
Huh.
because they have the
Are
exact
zealous.
same ideology on Jews
Yes. Hmm.
and and um what do you call it? Not capitalism. I'm sorry. Jews and imperialism, or not imperial. Where a country want to take land. So
Yeah.
the Germans went to them with their views on the Jews and uh, gosh, I can't think of the name right now. Sorry.
All
Anyways,
right.
and they loved it. So they joined. They had a whole 13th Battalion SS
Hmm.
unit. Was the
Palestinians.
first non-German.
Hmm.
No, they were I think Serbian Muslims,
Okay. Yeah.
but also Palestinian. They went to the um, leader in Palestine, and he was a big fan. He was really
Of
tight with Hitler.
Hitler. Yeah.
Anyways,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
it's a very interesting story about how the whole gosh the Muslim Brotherhood and all these guys were actually they were big fans of Hitler also, and they said, hey, we like what you guys are doing, especially with those Jews. And uh, I am I am concerned with the like you alluded to, is that so many people in America have lost their sense of holiness, morality, their sense of who we are as a nation. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. On spring break, right? You go to spring break, Fort Lauderdale, any place else, and they've got this guy named Johnny who's on Fox News, and he'll go
oh
down and
yeah,
start talking to the people and asking them questions about just basic stuff, and they're going, I don't know, yeah, that kind of stuff. When our country was founded, that was a driving force behind everything they did, is to teach people this is the way a society is built, and this is right and wrong. And they understood that if we ever lost that, education, if we ever lost our sense of history, and I think that's what you're alluding to, if we ever lost that sense of history in our country, we're doomed, because it doesn't take much for you to fool a society when they don't have any history. We've watched this over the last 10 years, where they're taking down statues, right? Why is that? Because they know enough people don't even know what that statue's up there in the first place. But if you can get rid of it, guess what? There's no proof, right? There's no history there. And I agree with you. Is that we need to pray as a country. We need to understand our history, and we need to get back to those that Christian foundation we used to have as a nation. Yeah, you can practice any religion you want, right? But the only reason why you're able to do that is because you're in a Christian nation. Because guess what? You couldn't do that in a communist nation. You couldn't do that in a Taoist nation. And like India right now, right? You mentioned that thing. Well, the first things you mentioned was India, right? You can't be a Christian in India. As a matter of fact, if you try to convert to Christianity in India, right? But you can be a Hindu in America, and we don't, nobody cares. But you understand that you are in a Christian nation, that you can do that because you're in a Christian nation, and even though you guys would never allow us to do that in your nation. Aaron, I want to before we sign off, because we're running over now. I want to close the show by once again saying, dude, this has been fun. I mean, it really has been very fun over the last 3 seasons, and I want to thank you for being a part of this whole thing. I know you're going to continue on, so folks, don't think Aaron's going anyplace. He's still going to be doing this. I'm going to be stepping away, but before I leave and stuff like that, I just wanted to let everybody know that this has been a blast. It really has been a blast. I'll be working on a different show that'll be focusing all my energies on. It's called In God We Still Trust, and it's all a part of the God Stream Network and everything else. So I'm very excited about that. But fear not, folks, because Aaron Newton will still be here doing This Week in Prophecy. So, Aaron, before I leave, I guess I'll let you say a few words, and then we'll sign off. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I just want to say thanks. This was fun, and I'll be honest, by speaking about it, and I learned a lot. I really did learn a lot by just even praying. Like, what do you want me to talk about? Tell me what you want me to say. What do you want to tell people? And I really did learn a lot, especially of listening to the voice of God. Like that to me was, I'm just in, even today, you know what I mean? Like even today, he said, "Hey," well, anyways. But my last words is thank you, Sherman. I thanks for giving me this opportunity, and I will steward it well. But I also want to say, please, this whole today, what I talked about was to get people's eyes open that there is a spiritual realm, and you need to know that those people are more excited about the Antichrist and more in tune with the spiritual realm than most Christians are. And that has to change. That has to change, or we will go right back to the Joe Biden years and COVID and all that other stuff.
Boy. And I think we learned a lot. We learned a lot in those 4 years, didn't we? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was a big part of bringing people out of that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that people learned so much from it that they're going, no, not going back there. Not going back there at all. Amen. Aaron, I'm going to let you go, brother, but we will talk to you soon, okay?
All right, buddy.
All right, we'll talk to you later, brother. And folks, thank you once again for being a part of the broadcast. And once again, this has been a blast. I'm not gone forever, you guys. Aaron will, I'm going on to another show. Very excited about that. Aaron will definitely be continuing on with the show, and so you're definitely in good hands and everything else. I want to encourage you to check us out in our new show. We've already started. It's called In God We Still Trust, and we'll make all kinds of references to it later on, and you'll be able to get a hold of it. And it's been a blast. Anyways, it's been Pastor Sherman for This Week in Prophecy. Thank you once again, folks, for being a part of the broadcast. We will see you guys soon. You have a blessed day. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.